Something about we're talking about was kind of funny about all the ways, the genetics and the hormones. I mean, you know, like the NFL lineman, like 25 years ago, was like 220 pounds, like my weight.
Oh, right.
And now it's like if you're not 300,
Right.
you know, I know some steroids are, but I think just because the weight has gotten so big over the last, when manufacturing foods got so,
Right.
you know, commercial,
Right.
with those hormones and stuff like that. I mean, do you think that could have affected it?
Well, that's actually a really neat example. My wife, she buys all of our meat at Whole Foods. And you know, you go to Sprouts, you go to places. The reason we go there is because there are no hormones in the meat. We need to talk about the physiologic effects of progesterone and estrogen in the body. There are three different estrogens. There's estriol, estradiol, and estrone. Each of those estrogens has the physiologic effect in the body where it causes you to retain water, store fat, and make you more irritable. And ladies, that don't read anything into that. I'm just saying that's the physiological effect of the estrogens. And so, what do you suppose they shoot our cows full of before they send them to the market? Well, what do they want? They want the meat to be heavier, so when the butcher puts it on the scale, it weighs more, so it costs more money. So guess what? The meat has more water in it, has more fat in it, and it's got a bunch of hormones that you really don't want. They cause you to retain water, store fat, and be more irritable. And people, how many of you people have heard, man, I bought that meat, it was this big and it cooked down so small because it was full of artificial water. But the thing that they don't, well, they probably do realize, but they don't care, is that when you eat that meat, we're actually consuming all those hormones you just shot into that cow or whatever the case may be. So in fact, there's a doctor, he coined a term called estrogen dominance, which a lot of ladies have. So you have to balance that out with the progesterone. Now, beyond that, a lot of the pesticides and insecticides we use, they have what? Estrogenic compounds in them. So now you get the estrogens through the produce, you get it through the meat, so you have to be very careful. I will tell you, my wife, she goes to farmer's market to buy organic, she goes to Whole Foods to get the meat, she goes to Costco to get things, she goes to the regular market, she goes to Trader Joe's, she goes all over the place to get the different foods that we need for our house so that our children are not getting plugged full of hormones that I don't want them to have. So that's a big issue.
And that's a good point. I work for a high-end meat manufacturer who was sustainable and, you know, strictly natural, no hormones. And the biggest problem with competing in something like that, why you have to charge more, is because you're not getting that before 30 days before they a cow, they pump them up to get them the heavier.
And if you're not doing that, how do you compete with that? Unless the consumer, you guys, we're here to educate you so you can be an informed consumer. People go, well, Whole Foods charge so much for the meat. Well, yes, but what is the long-term price you're going to pay? And I'm not suggesting, like I said, you only go to Whole Foods, but find meat that is grass-fed, doesn't have hormones, it's guaranteed. In some way, you have to guarantee that is what's happening. That's what we do in our family. And my girls, by the way, they have not developed prematurely. And not that that's a marker for everything, but it's like,
it could be.
I was determined, my girls, I was not going to shoot them full of hormones when they were young. And so.
Mine's like a linebacker. I've been getting her hormones ever since she was kid. Now I don't anymore, you know. Just kidding.
Takes after her father. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so anything else you want?
No, it's been. You want to go next one?
I know. What's the next one?
No.
Okay.
Just edit that out, Chris.
Of course.